Hey everybody, welcome back. This is another episode of Grind Lifestyle. I am JP. That guy is Nick Martin. That is Brian Hopkins, and also joining us, of course, Mr. Scott Bartlett. Today on the show, man, we've got a phenomenal musician. He is famous for being in bands such as Shinedown and Fuel. Currently, he is the bassist for Saliva, and he is Brad Stewart. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Thanks for having me on, guys. Good to be here.
Absolutely, man. Welcome to the podcast. I'm going to throw some people under the bus right off the bat. I'm just picking at random. Brian Hopkins, what's the first question?
Yeah, bud. So I gotta ask you, it's crazy. Grind lifestyle. I mean, you're living it right now. When JP rattled off all these bands. By the way, I just met Bright Scallions on Saturday at Phil X's house.
Oh yeah,
which was a lot of fun on Saturday night. But it's a grind to get to do what you love. And we got Scotty down in the corner, bouncing, going down the road, doing what he loves, and on the way to a gig out on the road. And we got to do what we got to do. What's your favorite part about all this, this journey that you've been on?
I mean, I think for me, these days, playing live is the big payoff. And we've been lucky enough in Saliva to have been able to play some pretty big festivals quite recently. And for me, that was always the big payoff. I mean, I do love the collaboration and the songwriting part of the process. I love being involved in that, especially when the ideas that I have, of course, make it on the record and people get to actually listen to what I've contributed to. And it's not that I don't like other people's ideas, of course, but it's like it's something that if you're presenting intellectual, I guess, property or your emotions on vis-a-vis the instrument or lyrics or melodies, I think and then to have someone connect to that and see it, see their faces light up when it's your song that you contributed to, I think that's another big payoff for me as well. I guess I would say though, I'm getting a little bit older now. I guess avenues and the opportunities to have your songs make it on records are not as good as they used to be for me. You know what I mean? So, and maybe I just need to network a little bit better. But I just feel like so now it's more about let's get out there and rock the shows and meet the fans and have some fucking fun and just do it, man.
I love that. That's a great answer, man. And it's true. It's got to be something special to have. You got something that you pulled out this idea, and then you look out when you're actually getting to play it. It goes on this journey from an idea to recorded to you're playing it, and now you're getting to see a reaction as you're on stage.
Yeah, you and I just went through that. Went through that together. We just created a song together from a chord progression that I just threw together, and you made it into a beautiful tune, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. And that's the gift of these moments. You and I Scotty, we just get together and we have a small conversation, and I jokingly challenged him. I said, "Hey, you give this back with a little piece of music, that'd be great," because he borrowed a guitar when he was in town. And he goes, "Don't challenge me," and that we didn't know what it was going to be, but I was going through something, and that's how we as songwriters and ideas and stuff happen. And now JP, right before we got started, is telling me, it's ran 30 times on the radio station already, and on his station of pirate radio. So that's what makes things special. Somebody else, go ahead, Scotty. I'm going to put it on you.
Yeah, I would like Scotty. This question is for you to carry on with Brad. What is your relationship with Brad before we go any farther, so our listeners and viewers know where we're at right off the bat?
Brad and I have known each other so long that I don't remember when we met. I mean, we've been touring together, Saliva and Saving Abel. I mean, dear God, who knows how many shows? And we're just like-minded people that always end up kind of hitting it off. Probably one of the people I look up to more in this industry that I actually get to see and hang out with, because he's really diversified. He understands it's not just about playing the instrument on stage anymore. There's other avenues and there's other ways, which he just alluded to. I think my question for Brad would be to open the floor to him and just tell the cliff notes of your story. I don't think there's enough time in a full day to get your entire thing out there. So give us the cliff notes on how it all started for you and how you've ended up where you've ended up.
Okay. I mean, for me, professionally, yeah, I guess, it goes back to the mid 90s, and not to make this too long, because it's been about, as a pro, I'd say 23, 24 years as a pro. But so I was in, bands around town here in Jacksonville, and in came a guy in town by the name of Fred Durst. And he was in a band at the time. He was in several bands in town, but at the time it was called a 10-Foot Shindig. And I was in a band called, it was Splinter, and then we were called Thick or whatever. And so I just remember when I first met Fred, I was like, this dude's going play. You could just tell the guy had whatever charisma or whatever it was. You could just feel it, and it was happening, right? So he dissolved his band, and we had a band, of course, and our singer, we were having issues with our singer, and we ended up letting our singer go. And at the time, like I said, Fred was dissolving his band. So Fred, I would go and pick Fred up. He was actually apprenticing as a tattoo artist in town here in Jacksonville. And I would go pick him up, and we would write songs in our jam room. And that's when I think I really learned how to sort of put a song together. Fred was really good at, and he wouldn't even call it a verse or a chorus. He'd be like, loop that part, add this part after it, and then loop it again, the whole thing. Like, he just had a way of like sort of describing it, I guess you'd say. So once I met him, I felt like, I came up in the grunge era. He was obviously then after, we were working together, he was forming Limp Bizkit, right? So in the middle of that, he ends up forming Limp Bizkit, and he didn't necessarily leave us behind, but he kind of did. Limp Bizkit took off. They got a deal with Flip, and then it was, they got absorbed into the Interscope umbrella, right? So I took a couple years, not necessarily off, but just not really focusing on music. And I graduated college, and that was 1999. So once I graduated college, I get a call from Danny Wimmer. So you may be familiar with who Danny Wimmer is.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably with the biggest concert promoter, at least in the United States, if not the world. So he puts on Louder Than Life, Welcome to Rockville, Incarceration these days. Let's see what else.
He's just a monster.
Sonic Temple, so wow. Rock on the Range, all that shit like that. So the biggest rock festivals in the country. At the time, he was working as a A&R coordinator for Fred's label, Flawless Records, right, which was an imprint onto the Geffen part of Interscope. So I get a call from Danny, and he's like, hey, man, Fred signed this guy, Wes, and his band's called Puddle of Mud, but we don't like his band. We want to form a band around him, and Fred wants you to come out and audition for the bass. And I was like, okay. So we actually went up to, Danny ran a club in town called the Paradome, or maybe it was called 618 at the time. I can't remember. So we went and listened to the guy's music, right? And it was, it sounded a lot like Nirvana, right? I mean, you guys heard Puddle of Mud, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I was like, that's actually cool, though, because, that was kind of the era of music that I came up in, was the grunge era. I felt like that was my generation, and now this was like the second coming of Kurt, So anyway, I learned the songs and shit, and then they fly us out there, and so we rocked the songs with Wes and stuff, and they're like, hey man, so I know you guys learned his songs, but can you contribute any of your own ideas? So maybe try to write something with them. So I was like, I can, and I was the first one to present an idea, and that was ended up to be the Control song.
Oh, no way.
So,
well done, bro.
Yeah. So, well, it gets a little sticky though. So I actually, I was like, man, I got it fucking made. Like I'm in, dude. We just wrote one of his best songs. I think at the time he didn't have Blurry, right? He had Drift and Die, and he had some of the cuts that made the record, that first record, come clean. But I was like, man, this fucking song rocks, dude. Like, and Danny was inviting people to watch us play the song while while I was still out there. So then like the next day or maybe 2 days later, he hands me a plane ticket. It's a Delta plane ticket. And he was like, yeah, man, the song's cool, and everything, but, we'll let you know if we decide to use it. And then he goes, we're going to try out other bass players. Come to find out, one of the people that were in the room during my audition was Doug Ardito, who became the bass player for Puddle of Mud. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's sitting there watching me audition, dude, which I didn't know. I thought he just worked at the label, which he did with Danny and stuff and everybody. So anyway, so my boy T-Bone on drums actually makes it into that part of the process for the band. And he had actually filmed the audition. So interesting, right? So he stays out there. I actually get a job. I'm testing rum at the Bacardi plant as an analytical chemist. Like I said, I graduated from college with a biology degree and stuff. So anyhow, so some time passes, right? And T-Bone's like, we're still playing the song. I mean, it's probably going to be the first single, right? So then they go, Danny calls me up, or some of the label calls me up, and they try to offer me money to buy me out of the song. And I was like, cool. How much money? This could be awesome, And he's like, $5,000.
The magic number.
I was like, fuck you. So anyway, I went out and got the best lawyer I could possibly get on the East Coast. This guy named Bobby Rosenblum at Greenberg Traurig, huge fucking law firm. And he's an entertainment lawyer. And he pretty much taught me everything I knew about the music business vis-a-vis this ordeal, I guess this situation we had with Puddle of Mud. So we end up actually coming to an agreement, a songwriter agreement. I get a good split with Wes. The next thing you know, the song starts blowing up, and Fred and Jordan Schur put the money behind the song, right? So next thing you know, I'm starting to get calls from Warner Chappell and EMI and different publishers, because they figured out that the song that's going to most likely be a hit is actually a co-write. So anyhow, I negotiate a publishing deal. And in the middle of this, I have met Brent Smith from the then unknown band, or unnamed band too, Shinedown. So Control screaming up the charts. I end up doing a publishing deal with EMI April Music. And then, like I said, in the meantime, I'm working at the Rum Lab. Going during the day, and then at night I'm going to the studio, and myself and Brent and Jason had come into the picture. We were forming Shinedown here in Jacksonville. And so as that's going on, we're auditioning drummers. We had a hard time finding a drummer, right? So we went through at least 6 drummers, right? So next thing you know, Barry Kirch walks in the room, his brother's actually Chumley Kirch, who was a program director down here at the radio station in Jacksonville. So next thing you know, he's the guy. He's drummer number 7. He's Lucky 7. So we start demoing the songs out and everything. And, Brent had already had a record deal with Atlantic. He had a development deal and with a band called Dreve, but they had gotten dropped from the label, and then they re-signed Brent, and they wanted to build a band around Brent, right? So again, it's a similar situation to the Puddle of Mud situation, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, we start demoing things out and everything, and Fred Durst gets wind of the singer Brent Smith and the band, and he actually calls the label head up, and he wants to try to sign Brent and the band away from the label. And so after he did that, I believe it was the next day, we got the green light to do the record because they did not want that to happen. So we start picking producers, and we go, and we chose Bob Marlette. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bob, but he did the Seether records, a couple of them. He did, Saliva, Shinedown. He's done a lot. He did some Ozzy stuff. He's a great producer. Awesome dude. And I think he was really instrumental in getting us our sound. We were a new band, and we didn't know. I mean, it's not like we knew we wanted to rock, and we had some metal, and we had some of those influences in us. But yes, we formed Shinedown. We put out Leave a Whisper. Leave a Whisper was mixed by Andy Wallace. And actually, before we put it out, more drama, the label comes back and they're like, well, we don't think you have the record yet. So we're ready to put the record out. All Bob songs, Andy Wallace, Howie Weinberg mastered it. We think it's incredible, right? And they're like, no, sorry. So then we go back back to the drawing board with a fella named Rick Beato. I don't know if you've heard of Rick Beato, but he's got a very popular YouTube channel these days. Look him up. He's got millions. He was actually he was in a band with who's the he did a lot of the STP stuff called Billionaire with Brendan O'Brien.
Oh, wow.
In the Atlanta area. But that band really never made it, so he started producing. So anyhow, we record and write 6 songs with Rick. 4 of them make the record. We put the record out, and we hit the road. And speaking of grinding, I want to say we did over 200 shows on that first record cycle as Shinedown in 2 years.
You guys came to Memphis for a long time.
Yeah. Memphis was one of our best markets. Rob Cressman, the program director there, championed our band. Yeah. So yeah, man, you know, like we're like any other band, no one had ever heard of us. At least people still loved rock music. People were into it. There were bands out there like Fuel and Saliva and Seven Dust and Seether and, you know, all the S bands, you know, and it was a good time in music, man. It felt cool. There was a lot of great bands out there doing it. Three Doors Down. Thankfully, we had a big time manager by the name of Bill McGathy that was interested in managing the band. He still actually manages Shinedown to this day. So yeah, man, we did our thing. We went out there and played a shitload of shows. The record sold platinum, the first record, you know. So
congrats, dude.
So I appreciate that. So then we get off the road after a couple years, and they're like, okay, we're ready for record 2.
Of course.
We were like, you are? Like,
wow.
Fuck, no one had written like the first thing, you know, and they wanted it out within like 6 months and shit, right? So anyhow, yeah, man. So we ended up making this record, and there was some drama in the studio. We didn't really get along with the producer. The producer had co-written the songs 45 and Burning Bright with Brent. I don't know if you're familiar with the record.
Yeah, I am.
And 45 was one of the singles. And he was more of a pop guy and more of just like a songwriter guy, not really as far as a producer. I mean, he did produce records, but he was just really hard to get along with, you know. And it just really felt like all the bonds that we had formed on that first record cycle as a band and as people were really sort of completely destroyed, and we were almost like put into corners, like we're ready to fight at any given time. Yeah. So that was kind of the beginning of the end for me, for that band. I still, you know, that record, it has some bittersweetness to me, and it just has some emotional baggage, I guess you could say, you know. Sorry. Hey man, shit happens, dude. But I stuck it out. I wanted to be a loyal dude, you know, and so we go out there on the road on this record, and that one, the first single was Save Me. We spent about $300,000 on that video. So we're spending money just doing dumb shit, and like, you know, we doubled our overhead. We got another bus, even though we were making about the same, if not half the. You know, it was just doing dumb shit as a sophomore band. But I think when we got the 2 buses, it was probably so we didn't kill each other. So I get that part, you know. But there was just some weird shit. But anyhow, so we're about most of the way through that record cycle, and we're playing a show with Rob Zombie, and I noticed that they're watching me play with Shinedown, you know, and we're playing down at Livestock down in the Tampa area, and so they were like, you know, after the show, John Five's standing there in his yellow raincoat and his mask and his whole zombie get up, and he's like, hey man, give your phone number to my tech, man. I was like, okay, cool, man. Yeah, whatever. And so then him and Rob both watched the next show, which was Earth Day Birthday, right? And so they basically, Blasco was leaving to do Ozzy, and they wanted me to come join their band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I turned them down because I was trying to be fucking loyal, you know, even with all the drama going on with the band. And I was under contract and stuff. I wasn't just a hired gun in Shinedown. It was kind of like a glorified thing, but I still got royalties and I still, you know, whatever. so I turned them down, and you say part of the your musical journey, there's decisions that are made,
Yeah.
and that one I still think about. And when I would run into them later on, I was like, God damn, man. And then in a crazy twist of fate, of course, Piggy D left and went to Manson, and then Blasco comes back, 18 or 20 years later. I don't know if you followed that story. So
Wow.
so anyhow, so that record cycle ends, the Us and Them, the Shinedown record cycle, and I'm feeling like a little weird, right? I'm feeling like, man, like I don't feel like I'm in the band anymore. Like, am I in the band? So I call management, I call our guy G-Man, and I'm like, hey, bro, like, what's going on? I'm about to go to the NAMM show to represent our band and, fucking sign autographs and do this shit. And he's like, nah, I think you're good, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Come back from NAMM, and I get a call from Bill McGathy, and he's just like, man, you just never got over what happened on the second record cycle, man. We're going to have to let you go.
Oh, wow.
And that was it.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, had they done that, during the cycle or just let me know, I just would have went to Zombie. Fuck, I had an opportunity, man. If you don't want me to do it anymore, or don't want me in it, I don't give a shit. Like, I care about the band. I'm trying to be loyal. I felt like we started it from the ground up. We were out there one for all for one and shit. But just tell me, fuck, So they didn't drop the bomb on me until the cycle ended, which was really tough because it's like, okay, now what? Good luck getting a gig when you're sitting home. One thing when you're fucking out there.
Right.
So look, man, I get it. We were all in a different place back then. It was we were all like, I mean, I must have been 30 at the time, whatever it was. I was a lot younger of a man, or 35, whatever it was. So anyhow, man, so I was pretty lost at that point. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was like, that was my everything. Like, that was my band. That was what I helped start from nothing. We had no fans. It's not like we're out there touring and someone discovered us and now we're getting signed and all this shit. No, it was we had nobody.
Yeah,
we had to go out there and earn every last one of those motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Oh wow.
So anyhow, I meet up with so Bobby Amaru comes over to my house, and he was in a band called Burn Season on Elektra back right when Shinedown was forming and getting signed. They got signed. They were a lot, about maybe 10 years younger than us. And he comes over and he's like, man, I don't think I'm going to do Burn Season anymore. I want to do my own thing. So he and I end up forming a band called Amaru. And it was kind of like, it was a little different for me, man. It was like, it was a little bit more, I guess you'd say emo, or just a little lighter for me. I'm used to the heavy sort of, aggressive shit. And so I tried on those skinny jeans for a minute and they didn't really fit that well. So that didn't last very long for me. And then I joined a band in town called Society Red, and that had Paul Phillips, who used to be in Puddle of Mud, and some other guys that had played and had some success around town. Damon, of course, too, the singer, was in Burn Season with Bobby, so that was an interesting thing. So then we were trying to get that band signed as hard as we could, and I end up at the NAMM show in 2010, and I run into Brett Scallions. And he was like, hey, man, what are you doing these days? And I was like, well, I'm trying to get this band together, from Jacksonville. Why? What are you up to? He's like, well, I'm getting the name Fuel from Carl. I'm getting the name back. Right now we're calling it Refueled. Oh, okay. He's like, and all I'm missing is a bass player.
Wow.
So I was like, huh, I might know someone. I might know somebody, So anyhow, Brett and I talk, and he's like, well, I'm going to be calling you. So the next thing I know, I joined Brett and a guy named Ken Schalk, who was in a band called Candiria, a metal drummer, fucking badass drummer, and Yogi Lonich, who used to be in Buck Cherry. He was like the original dude in Buck Cherry. So then we do Fuel for like the next 5 years. I mean, and guys kind of came in and out of there. Yogi left pretty early in the band. He went and did like Melissa Etheridge and stuff. And Ken left after that. And so, yeah, we did that for about 5 years. And
I saw you guys.
Oh yeah,
I'm a big Brett fan, and and I'm friends with Carl. I'm friends with Carl too, but Carl Bell. But because my old roommate and one of my best friends took over for Brett when they were looking for a new singer. So he auditioned, got it, became the singer of Fuel, Touring Green. But I didn't tell Brett that the other night when I was hanging out with him, because he had such a big influence on me as an artist. You know, oh my God, Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder, Scott Weiland, you know, and Brett were three guys that just had an impact on me. But go ahead, please. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just
feel like I'm the one talking. I don't know,
no, it's
man.
great.
I'm not used to like talking about myself like this. I'm the fucking bass player.
I love this. Like,
you know what I mean?
This is like my favorite part here.
Oh
Yeah, no,
okay.
it's great.
I'll keep going.
It's
right.
great.
You've got the most to say, brother. We've all heard it.
Yeah.
All right. So anyhow, so while in Fuel, we put out we start writing and stuff because we're like, man, we just don't want to be like a nostalgia thing. You know, we want to put out some music, and you know, we all have connections and we all know how to put a song together. So we had enough songs for a record, and we ended up calling it Puppet Strings, and that came out 2014 on Megaforce. So that was fun for me because we even though it was Brett and it was called Fuel, we weren't trying to kind of put ourselves in that box and with those blinders on. We were like, man, some of it sounds kind of Southern, some of it sounds kind of like not real modern, kind of classic and shit, you know. And it was a fun record to make. There wasn't some label douchebag telling us how we were supposed to stand and look and what we were supposed to wear and all this shit and how it's supposed to sound. I mean, they kind of let us just make the record, you know, the way we wanted to make it, and it was a lot of fun, man. It's one of the best experiences I've ever had making a record in a band situation. Wow. You know, it was cool. Eddie Wool, I don't know if you know Eddie, produced it. So yeah, he, you know, anyway, so put the record out, and so that would have been 2014. So 2015 rolls around, and Brett decides to do an acoustic tour in the spring. And by this time, Saliva had let go of Dave Novotny, the original bass player of the band. And, you know, Josie had left in 2012, and my buddy Bobby Amaru, who I was just mentioning that we were in a band together, became the singer of Saliva in 2011, 2012.
We've actually had Bobby on here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and Bobby's like, dude, we let Dave go. We want you to come play bass. So when Brett's doing his acoustic tour, it kind of blew our wad for Fuel doing shows, because he'd kind of gone to all those markets in the spring. So I'm like, but there was a big summer tour coming up with Everclear and shit, whatever. So I start playing shows with Saliva, just kind of filling in with them. And so then some things happened over the summer. My brother passed away, and there was some drama with which of course I was devastated, and that was early summer, and it was right before we were about to do the Summerland tour with Everclear. So needless to say, I didn't do that tour. I was, you know, trying to pick up the pieces in my personal life with him passing. But then there was a little bit of drama with the publisher, because my publisher was looking for my royalties from the Puppet Strings record, and I just don't think that, you know, the organization knew how it worked, you know. So, and I tried to explain to him, I just said, Brett, you know, if you had a publishing deal, your publisher would be coming after your label to get your royalties. They take their cut, then they pay you. Like there's a way about this thing. It's nothing personal. And he was like, well, if you know, if that money's out there for you, then there must be money out there for me. I said, yes, there is, but it's your label. And he was just thinking that the record would have had to recoup before he owes anybody anything. And I was like, it doesn't work like that, bro. Okay. It's like if, you know, Desmond Child writes a song with Aerosmith and they spent $10 million on the record, he gets paid when record one is sold. Desmond Child gets paid, right? That's how it works. People don't know that. Obviously, some people don't know that. Right. So it doesn't matter if Aerosmith ever pays their record back. They have to pay the songwriters. So anyhow, that caused some drama between me and Brad, and ultimately I left Fuel. And it was a shame, because I really did like being in the band. So then a couple months go by, and I reached out to Bobby, and I said, man, I can't sit here anymore It's just depressing. My brother's gone. You know, what's the story with Saliva? What are y'all doing? And they had a guy come in and play bass, and I kind of more of a fill-in type situation for him. So that's when I joined Saliva full time.
Oh wow.
I guess that would have been September or something, 2015.
Cool. You guys have new music coming out, right? And you guys are working with Neil from 3 Days Grace, and
Yeah, so that record, so I a couple records, we did a couple records since I've been in Saliva, and of course, we had Paul still in the band. We had Wayne when I first joined. Even John Montoya was in it for a minute there. I don't know if you all know John.
I met you. It just hit me. Blue Ridge Festival, like 2 years ago.
Yep.
I got a call to interview because I was there, and I get a call from a radio station asking me if I would interview Josie Scott before he took the stage on the last 3 songs with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you going, he looks so familiar. And I know it's from these bands, because I'm a big fan of Shinedown. I'm a big fan. I saw you in LA with Fuel, and then I saw you on stage. I was on stage giving you guys hugs and meeting everybody.
Shit.
Yeah, I was on the stage, and then I ran out front. Like right before you guys took the stage, I got to meet everybody, and then I ran out front and videoed it and everything. And yeah, it's crazy.
That's such a small world. I mean, especially in rock. I mean, it's like, that's the cool thing to me about the festivals. I'm like, I get to see all my friends. I run into Scott Bartlett here. I mean, it's like a family fucking reunion every time I do one of those things. I've been in every band at this point. So it's like, fuck it. Or I've toured with every band. Our techs are the same people or whatever it is.
Yeah, all kinds of history. No, it's great. Yeah, it was wild. It was, so that's wild. I remember meeting you.
That's insane.
So, and then I was with Chris Daughtry.
Oh yeah.
And I was with Chris, and he invites me I live in Vegas, and you guys came to Vegas and did a radio show with Chris.
We did. It was the broadcaster convention or something. Yes.
And I was with you guys hanging out, like at the end there, at the back of the room, back corner. And that was so wild. So wild.
That's wild. Yeah, Wayne was still alive back then. I remember that.
Yeah, he was. It was shortly after that he passed. Literally shortly after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. I want to say, God, what month was it? What was that? 2022, wasn't it? Or it had to have been.
Yeah, it was
23. I can't remember, man.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, but it was shortly after. No, I'm only talking like a couple of months or so.
It had,
and then he passed. Yeah, that was wild. And what's weird is that I was talking with Josie, and he goes, "Hey man, I gotta go. I just got a text, and Sweeney's in the hospital. I gotta go." And I went, "Okay," and
fucking brutal, dude. We were literally. I mean, we had done a show or two, in Florida, Orlando, and then, Sarasota, fucking whatever it was, and so Bobby and I go home to Jacksonville. The bus goes to Nashville, and we fly to Nashville to meet it. And we're playing Brooklyn Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And Wayne's normal Wayne, just fucking just awesome, crazy as he ever it was and is, and he's doing his thing. And so we played the show. It was a good show. It was kind of like on a weeknight, I want to say, in Nashville. So it was good, but it wasn't, like some super packed, crazy, but, and we start heading to Pittsburgh, and, so we're almost to Pittsburgh, and Bobby, I hear him in the hallway, and he's freaking out. He's like, "Dude, tell Chris, we got to get Wayne to a hospital. He's not moving." And so Wayne's in the back lounge. Wayne would always take over the back lounge. We'd call it Wayne's World. He didn't like to sleep in the bunk. So we just take the back lounge. But there was a bathroom back there. So he wouldn't have to come up to use the bathroom. So it wasn't an odd thing that we didn't see him coming up to the front to use the bathroom, right? So yeah, Bobby goes back there to check on him, or even to use the bathroom. And so it's like panic central, of course, on the bus. And thankfully, we were almost to our destination. And Chris Lafferty, our bus driver, was like, call the fucking hospital. There's one like 3 miles away. Call the hospital. Tell them we're coming in, and basically what the situation is, so they can meet us. So thankfully, we called the hospital, and there's like 8 or 10 people at that hospital that meet us there. And Wayne is like, they try to give him, Narcan. They didn't know if he took drugs. They didn't know. They're just trying to resuscitate him basically at this point. And it took like 3 or 4 of them to get him off the bus and onto the stretcher. And man, so we're needless to say, we're fucking freaked out, I'm sorry. That's our brother, dude. That's our guy. And so they take him in, and they end up having to fly him to the University of Pittsburgh hospital, because they didn't have, I guess, like a trauma unit at that hospital. So they had to fly him over there. So we're just trying to like figure it out. Of course, we let his family know. We go to the venue. We just could have like, oh, maybe he'll be okay. We'll play the show, and we'll just give him a couple days, and we'll have a fill in or whatever it is. So it ends up, yeah, man, the next day, they basically told us that, he had no brain activity. He'd had like an aneurysm.
Yeah.
So like a brain bleed. And so,
I'm
just
sorry
to say, we were fucking devastated, and his family had come in town and stuff. And man, it's still hard to talk about.
I'm sorry.
It's just like, fuck. But yeah, man. So, yeah, that was another point in my life and my career where I was like, what the fuck do we do now? I mean, our guy, this is the only original member of the band that was still with us, and he's gone now. And it's just, anyway, we basically took the bus to Charlotte, and we just went home. We canceled everything. That was it, So anyway, not to bring anyone down, but it was a pivotal point in my life.
No, it is a pivotal
legend. And like he's just like one of those guys. You see Saliva, and it's like you know Saliva by Wayne. Like that was like the crazy thing. Like he's so noticeable. So his guitar playing was insane. Like I've met him a couple times. Like I've been a promoter for a long time, and I've actually done some shows with you guys over the years. And I've met him a couple times. One of the sweetest guys I ever met, and it's just like, wow, like we weren't friends or anything, but it's just like, man, it's like that one hit hard. I was like, just such a legend. And yeah,
total legend. It was just too soon. I mean, I think he was, 58, 59. It's just,
I'm sorry. Can I, this doesn't have to be on there. I'm going to tell you something. I'm Native American Indian. I'm Lakota, right? And weird things happen to me. And I told you I was talking to Josie on the phone when he said, I got to go, Wayne's in the hospital. And I was like, okay. And then I get a message that he lets me know he passed. And I went to bed, I woke up. And right when I woke up in the morning, what I felt was 3 taps on my back. I felt 3 taps, and it woke me up. And then I'm awake, and then somebody tapped me 3 times, and then a flash of Sweeney's face says, I'm okay. And I went, why are you coming to me? Why are you telling me this? And it wasn't until I told my sister, and my sister goes, you need to tell Josie. And I said, he'll think I'm crazy. Yeah. He'll think I'm nuts. So I ended up going out. I did about 4 or 5 shows with Josie and the guys in Alaska. And we were on the last show, and we're sitting there, and I let him know this, and he got up and walked away, and he was just crying. And he goes, I've been asking this whole time if he's okay. And I said, he came to me the day after he passed, and I saw him, and I'm like, I only met him twice. When I met you, the day I met you, right before you guys took the stage, and then the next time when Chris brought me to the show. And that's the only time and I was like, this has happened to me 3 times in my life, 3 moments where something like this happened, and maybe he knew that I was going to be able to pass the message along. So I just want to tell you right now, I mean, take it for what you want. And it's not, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy thing is, I remember you telling me this after the Alaska shows too. Like we were talking about you out there with Josie, and you told me that same story. So it's like, wow, like it's just
but yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Brad.
No. I mean, it's good to know because obviously some people are in tune. With that more than others, and I feel like I do feel things, and I'm intuitive and stuff, but I'm not necessarily on the level of if there was a visitation, it would most likely have been more like in a dream, or it wasn't like something I could really, or
I was awake.
To hear someone that is in tune, that that he said that to you to give us comfort,
right. Do you know Vista Blanco? I'm sure, like Chuck Garrick from Alice Cooper. Chuck, the bass player.
I know Ryan Roxy a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Him though.
I had a time like that. Another time where it happened in front of everyone, and I freaked out. I was just eating a banana, and somebody's came through and said these words, and I said it out loud, and I was crying, and I said it, and Chris, the guitar player, just walks to the wall and he starts crying, and he goes, "How would you know that?" I'm like, it's what I'm being told, right? Like, I had no clue. I'm just eating a banana. And he's like, "I've been asking that question, and you just answered my question." And
you have a gift, man. You have a gift.
Like,
that's amazing.
It's pretty wild.
I go, you know something, hey, Brad? I don't know if you remember this or not, Brad, but I mean, the whole music community really gathered around what was going down with Wayne.
Yeah.
And you were nice enough to text everything that's happening. Yeah. And we were all hoping and praying, so just the support system alone and the love that he got tells you the kind of man that man was.
Yes, absolutely. We tried to keep everyone in the loop best we could when it was going down, man. And it was just so fucking brutal because it was happening in front of us, and we didn't know what the outcome was going to be. And, Wayne had some situations before too, where he might have had to gone to the hospital for various reasons. And if you know Wayne, you may know why. I mean, he fucking lived the life, dude. I mean, he was one of those guys that just, he did it, man. He lived the lives of 10 men out here, man. And he died out here doing it with us, and man, but when it was going down, man, it was really tough to be in the situation. I think Scallions called me, and everyone's calling me like, what's happening with Wayne, and then the doctors are trying to do they're trying to do some things that they thought that would actually bring it back, or it could change things, and it just didn't change anything, man. And
well, and you know what? Here's the thing. I think he got what he wanted. I think the way the torch was passed, like, would you mind talking about that a little bit, about where Saliva's going now, what y'all are up to?
I mean, yeah, man, that was a couple years ago, of course, in March of 23. But so Bobby and him had done a LLC together. I guess it was 2018. I think Paul had left the band, and I had to leave the band for some personal reasons at that time. And they started an LLC, and in that LLC, there was a death clause. Should either Bobby or Wayne pass, the surviving member would carry the torch for Saliva, because Wayne was the only OG left. And part of the Saliva contract that everyone signed, the original members, had a clause in it too that was like, any leaving member forfeits rights to the band, the name, the trademark, anything. You can't go out as Saliva if you get fired or if you quit. So along the way, everyone had either been fired or quit the band. So they forfeited all their rights except for Wayne. Wayne was still in it. Wayne forms said corporation with Bobby, has a death clause. Surviving member of that, the name goes with them. And that's the way the Copyright Office saw it and still sees it, at least for the next 10 years. It's a 10-year license. So, yeah, so with that being said, of course, there was some drama because everyone thinks that if you're an original member of the band, that you can just come back and now all of a sudden magically everything is yours again, even though in the contract that you signed, you know what I'm saying? So there was some legality that had to be worked out, and I'm sure there's still some bitterness and some underlying tension between our version of what it is, and of course because people are saying, oh, you're a tribute band, there's no original members and there's no this or that. Well, and people are going to say whatever they're going to say, but we felt like and still feel like that we're carrying Wayne's legacy on. And he actually told us, he said, if anything fucking happens to me, don't quit. Keep this shit going as long as you fucking can.
Well, Brandon and I went and saw y'all, and you absolutely murdered that show.
Appreciate it, man.
Murdered it.
I hope that the fans that do show up and like our version of the band notice that we give it everything we got out there, man. I mean, it's fucking, I leave it all on the stage and just give it everything I got, man. As soon as everyone else in the band, and we respect the legacy, we respect the songs. And at this point, there's about half new songs and half old songs, or half legacy songs that we're doing in the set. So we're not just trying to sort of ride the coattails of the brand. But, you have to remember, Bobby's been in the band 13 years. The original member, was in it about 10 or 12 years too. So it's not like it's some lopsided. It's like he's like Johnny come lately with this shit. You know what I mean? So, so anyhow, we put out a record called Revelation on Megaforce a couple years ago, and it didn't really get the push that we had hoped for. So we ended up, actually Bobby's daughter, Veda, has a huge TikTok following, and they do duets and stuff, and they have all these followers. Well, from her, Howard Benson starts sort of poking around, and Neil from 3 Days Grace, they have a production, in a record company called Judge and Jury. So they start working with Veda. And so part of that, of course, Bobby is involved with that. It's his daughter. She's 12 or 13 at the time. So then we start entertaining the idea of re-releasing Revelation, and calling it maybe Revelation Retold or something, and then recutting some of the tracks with some guest stars, but also putting like 3 or 4 new songs on it. So that's exactly what happened. So we put Time Bomb, Devil's World, Crowd Goes Wild, and so a couple new songs, and then the song Horizon, we had Kevin Martin from Candlebox come sing on it.
Love that dude.
And he's fucking badass. So there's new versions of some of the songs from the record, right? So yeah, that's basically what we've been kind of living on. We just put out a video for Crowd Goes Wild like 2 days ago or whatever it was.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, we're playing at Sturgis. We're playing in Sturgis this weekend at the Chip with Gene Simmons.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had one of our clients is actually in Sturgis next weekend. Cordell Winter. He's playing right before some Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, damn! Where's
so
that?
We have a management company.
When does that
too.
happen? I want to go watch that.
yeah, we have a management company too, and Cordell's just blowing up right now. His record was produced by one of the dudes from Cage the Elephant, and he's out playing all the festivals and stuff. And he got called by, I think one of the DeLeo brothers called him up and asked him to come out and play right before they go on.
Wow.
So.
I love that STP, dude.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite bands of all time.
Me too.
Yeah, then Lucas, we have one of our business partners, Lucas Rossi. He's working with Judge and Jury, and he's like, dude, you got to check out some of this new Saliva stuff. He's been working with 3 Days Grace on some of their new stuff, and Trevor McNevin from 1,000 Foot Crutch, and he's like, dude, this new Saliva stuff is sick. And I'm like, all right. So I jumped in. I'm like, oh damn, holy shit. So,
I think the songs, and I think it's been a good fit for us, because we put out records before with other producers and other teams, and sometimes you just kind of know when it's working and when it's not. Of course, definitely know when it's not working. so I feel like it's working. I feel like they give a shit. And I feel like they want us, to do well and stuff. And we've had some setbacks though too. Earlier this year, we were booked by Sound Talent Group, and of course, David Shapiro was one of the head guys at Sound Talent. Well, his assistant Ian was our agent, and so David Shapiro flew his airplane into San Diego and crashed his plane a couple months ago. I don't know if you know that story or not. So
yeah.
So we've had some setbacks, but needless to say, everyone was devastated and his family, and what a fucking terrible situation that was, but it still is. But we ended up sort of, of course, when that happens, all those deals that were in place are now up in the air again because, no one has sort of sealed the deal.
Right.
So touring's been a little light for us in spite of because of that and for other reasons too, but it's going to pick up. But, man, when shit happens like that, you just got to roll with it and just try to.
I got to tell you, man, you put off a great energy. You honestly do. I get why Scott said what he said in the beginning of all this about you. You put this off. You have a positive attitude, and you seem like you pivot and keep moving forward. And
grind, dude. He grinds.
Yeah, you do, and you do grind. But that's the example of it, and that's why we all came together to do this podcast. And to share like stories like yourself. And thank you for being vulnerable with us and talking to us about all this. And we could keep sitting here with our jaws open, listening to your stories, because I love it. It's inspiring. And before we go, I just want to make sure that Scott and Nick have asked everything. I don't know what happened to JP, but he must
His internet died. So he
Okay.
said, sorry. Yeah. It just kept cutting out. So he's just like, I'm not going to jump back
Yeah.
on.
But before we go, shout out to Brandon who's driving. Appreciate it for allowing Scott.
There he is. What up, man?
Have a good show. Have a good, I love it, guys. But anything you want to ask Brad before we bounce?
Man, I think that's a good place to wrap it. That was
Absolutely amazing, man. I now I'll walk up to you and I see you again and say it's good to see you. Because
absolutely, man. Hey, I'll send you some music even or something.
Please.
Maybe you want to collab or something.
I would. Hey, listen, I would love that, and that's it's exactly what Scott and I did. It was just a hey, I got this, and I still have the voice memo, Scott. I love it. The voice memo that you sent me, our conversation before, then the voice memo. Hey, Brian, I'm sitting here. It's 1 a.m. Came up with this on your guitar, and I'm keeping that. That was
that's
special.
something I had written on piano before I left town. And I was like, I'm not gonna ask Brian to go find me a piano at 1 a.m. He already found me 2 guitars, so let's just kind of like transpose it.
I don't know. Brian's pretty resourceful. He probably would have found one for
I
you.
probably would have. Yeah.
You would have.
But what's wild, Scott, is when I heard the song, I went, this is a piano song, and I don't have a piano song. So I ran and had it done on piano and then built it backwards. So that's so weird. I didn't know that happened.
You didn't know? So when you told me, I kind of thought maybe I'll just never tell you that. But you just found out live on a podcast. So
yeah, exactly. And I was like, no, I hear it on piano. And you're like, take him to church, bro. And I'm like, yeah, so that's kind of wild that you said that. That's yeah. Oh, wow. But now I have to be able to play it out live. I got to go back to the acoustic version of it. But yeah,
it's definitely doable.
Yes. But Brad, thank you for your time, man. Thank you for sitting down, like I said, talking to us, being vulnerable, and I love that these guys, everybody. I'm excited that it jumped on here, man. This was really cool, really cool.
Hey,
thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you guys, man.
Before we go,
is there anything that you want to pitch?
Yes.
Before we get off.
Saliva's got a headlining run coming up September through October, mid-October. I don't know if we've even named the tour just yet. It's still being worked out, which they better work it out fucking soon because it's
right
here. It is
It's almost
August.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of part of the whole agent thing that I spoke of. But just look for us, in a town, coming to your town and come out and see the show. I think we do, of course, the legacy songs justice. I think there is going to be some some songs that we usually don't play from records with Bobby, since Bobby's been in the band, that I think we're going to add into the set just to change it up and kind of maybe give some people some different songs that they're not going to see every time they see us. They're like, okay, these songs, just trying to change it up, man, and try to keep it fresh. And then, of course, we'll have a new single that we're supporting, Crowd Goes Wild. And I don't know, man, come fucking hang out with us and party.
Do you know going to be on the West Coast at all?
There are some West Coast dates. We hit Colorado usually every tour, California, and hopefully back up into like Spokane, Idaho.
Sweet.
Those
I'm in Oregon, so if you can
fuck yeah. Okay.
If you're in Spokane, I'll come see you.
I'm in Vegas, but are you you said California? What part of California you think?
Well, we did Vegas with Drowning Pool. We did already this year, but that doesn't mean we usually do Vegas several times.
Okay.
It's just how it is. So I can tell you tentatively what those Californias were. Stand by 1 second here. Dude, I'm having to do this these days.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys went through that. And if I don't have my readers, which I had to recently go get, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, I just got them too. I just got them.
Dude, it's so weird. Sacramento, Bakersfield, San Luis Obispo, possibly San Diego. So
okay,
I'll just come down to Sacramento. You guys are playing at Ace of Spades, right?
That's Aftershock. We are doing Aftershock Festival.
Fuck. Yeah,
that would be October 4th. That one's definitely happening. I can tell you.
I'm definitely coming down there. I got a bunch of buddies playing Aftershock, so yeah, I'll fucking be there.
It's killer, man. We're on the stage with Korn and like fucking it's the heavy stage. Chevelle's on it. It's what's the real heavy band I'm thinking of? It's on there. Slaughter to Prevail, I think's on there. Maybe. It's
a great fucking lineup this year. They killed it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, come on down, man. If you're gonna already be there, I'll bump into you, man. Shit.
Yeah, maybe I might look into San Diego. So yeah, that's worth it. That's worth a run up the road to come see it.
Brick by brick. Yeah. Old school.
But thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. We appreciate it, and Jesse, who's not on here, he appreciates it too. He's the one that he's one of our guys as well. So and we gotta get you some grind lifestyle stuff as well. So yeah.
Man. All right, guys, appreciate it. Also, one last thing, I do have my own podcast called the Vinyl Road. So it's myself and Jason Bailey. Jason Bailey used to be an on-air personality down in Orlando, and we're on like episode 9. So we're kind of just getting started, but we'd appreciate the like and the follow and the share from your listeners, and maybe they can tune in and check it out.
Love it. And hey, Scott, can you put me in touch with Brad?
Yeah. Brad, if you're cool, I'll connect everybody with you.
Oh yeah.
Brad, if you give Scott all your info, or if I get your number or whatever, I'll get all the links and stuff, and we'll make sure we link it into the video.
Yeah. So Brad. So we put it in the video, so your links and stuff. So
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Brad, this time, so you were on my podcast. I'm coming on yours, dude.
Come on, we'll bring you on. I know we need to do it. It's usually. So we usually do Tuesday mornings. I'll figure it out with you, though. Let's do it soon.
Word.
Awesome.
All right, Nick, take us
guys. Good to meet you guys.
All right, guys.
Good to meet you, Brad.
You too, brother.
All right. Thanks, guys. You know where to find us. Like, comment, share, do all the things. Love ya.